up that we are good to go once you can see it.
Yep, checking out. Let's see. Yep, you're up.
Awesome. Welcome, Asphalt Life community. We are going live right now. If you're on here already, we're a couple minutes early, so bear with us. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and we're going to be starting today with a special video to kind of honor some of the folks that make it all happen at our plants and facilities. And then we'll be talking with our Vice President of Operations, Mike McCaig. So hang in there. We'll be getting started in just a second. Claudette, can you confirm that screen share is showing up on Facebook Live and you see that video screen before the play?
Yeah, it's a little delayed, so.
Cool.
Yeah, it's showing up.
Awesome. Great. Well, we're live. We're going to go ahead and play this quick video and show some of the folks at our plants, and then we will kick things off. What's happening, Asphalt Life community? This is Stan Bastek coming to you live with our Atlas Pro Talk Thursday edition. And if you guys are just joining us, make sure you rewind the broadcast and watch that video. Just a quick video showing all of our shingle and underlayment manufacturing facilities and some of the hardworking employees who are at work making shingles, essential employees in an essential business, a construction business, making sure that we can continue to make materials for the construction trade. I'm joined today by Mike McCaig. So happy you could join us. Mike is our Vice President of Operations for our Shingles and Underlayment Group. Welcome, Mike. How are you?
All right, great. Great to be here, Stan. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mike, we wanted to have you on. We've got a couple of different topics we're going to be covering in this edition of the Atlas Pro Talk. But really important, I felt like, to have you on to really talk to the roofing community as a whole, particularly our contractors and distributor partners who are watching this, about, what is Atlas doing? How are we handling this unbelievably unprecedented situation with COVID-19? And what Atlas is doing in terms of precautions to help keep people safe, which is mission number one. Safety is our top core value, but also to make sure that we can continue to service our customers. So maybe talk a little bit about what you've been doing, what your team has been doing to continue to meet those, mission number one, mission number two.
Yeah, absolutely, Stan. Our health and safety of our employees are without a doubt our top priority, always has been, always will be. As this thing progressed over the last little while. We've taken appropriate actions across all our facilities. I'm happy to report that we have not missed a beat in any location. That's a testament to the dedication of all of our employees. We've taken probably gone above and beyond the steps recommended by the CDC with respect to social distancing, cleaning of common areas, ensuring that the equipment is sanitized, people have the proper hand sanitizer, the proper PPE. We're staggering shifts, people coming and going just to ensure social distancing. So our attendance levels have been very, very good. I think employees feel that their health and safety is actually, continues to be a preeminent, or very important in our mind, whatever the word is.
Priority.
Yeah, it's a priority. Bottom line, it's a priority. So, and the plants actually are running very well. We've actually just set some production records. Some of the employees have actually really have risen to the occasion, and most of our plants are running, if not the best they've ever had. Very steady, very well. So I'm very proud. I'm proud of all the salary people, the plant people. People have taken action and really bared down on what it's going to take to create a safe work environment for employees and to allow us to maintain a high level of productivity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about, the idea of being an essential employee in an essential business from your perspective. I think there's a lot of chatter online, and certainly it's a big part of the national conversation about what is essential and what is not. We obviously know that medical workers are essential, people working at grocery stores are essential, sanitation, things like that. But then when you get into things like construction, the supply chain that supports construction, what does that mean to you, and how are our employees embracing that idea of being essential during this time?
Yeah, I think the majority of our employees recognize that construction is a really critical part of our infrastructure of our country, and the goods that we provide our customers, our distributors, our customers. I mean, a roof is not necessarily completely a discretionary purpose.
Right.
We're going to be there for our customers when storms happen,
Yeah.
when people have need replacement roofs. Construction in general has been designated by the Department of Homeland Security as an essential business, and we're a key supplier to that industry. I mean, you could argue that, okay, I could always put off my roof, but there's a lot of people that can't put off doing their roof.
Right.
And with storm season coming, and with just the fact that the roofs protect people's homes, construction in general is really a critical part of the overall infrastructure of the company. And
Right.
That's why people are proud to come to work and realize that they're making a contribution. And it's essential that we maintain our critical infrastructure across the country.
Yeah. And I'm showing an article that really talks about that, but you're absolutely right. Homeland Security did clarify construction's role in supporting essential critical infrastructure. And so again, if you're a roofing contractor, if you're on the labor side of that, or on the sales side of that, or on the repair side of that, stepping that up into the wholesale supplier side, and then certainly manufacturing, which is supported by not just manufacturers like us of finished goods, but also all the raw material suppliers. And there's a lot of great resources online for really what states have been considered essential for building material suppliers and construction. There was Washington, New York, Pennsylvania did have basically been a little bit stricter on this. But there's no question that now that the DHS has sort of clarified construction's essential purpose, that should ensure that there's no disruptions in the supply chain. But can you also maybe just touch on a little bit, Mike, about what you're hearing from our raw material suppliers to make sure that we can continue to operate and support our customers?
Yeah, we've been in contact with all our suppliers. Obviously, we use fiberglass, we use asphalt, we use granules. I mean, All of our major suppliers are committed to delivering the critical components required to keep us running. They recognize the importance of our industry. In fact, they're actually probably increasing their manufacturing capability right now, just in case, for whatever reason, they happen to come across, say, an inordinate number of cases, and they actually had to have some, if they had some short-term operational issues. So we are well supplied. We've actually purchased ahead to ensure that we have more than enough raw materials to meet our demand over the next 60 to 90 days. So we're well positioned from an inventory perspective. We're getting full support from all our suppliers. And I don't expect any interruptions in our supply chain or our ability to service our customers. We are in very good shape. And again, our employees are coming to work every day, raring to go to make it happen. And that really is a strong testament to the Atlas family and the employees in our plants.
Yeah, that's great. I really appreciate that update. And, for those of you out here watching this who don't get a chance to interact with our plant employees, have these folks in your thoughts and prayers, because I think at the end of the day, these are folks who are essential to our construction industry, and they are showing up to work every day, and they're happy to be there. They're happy to have a job, but it is also a very, very crazy time and a tough time to sort of figure out what's all going on with our families. So, there's a focus on business, but there's an even bigger, important focus on health and safety and family right now. So send your love and wishes their way as well through our chat. And I know some of these guys are on here and will be watching this as well. So we appreciate them. They are our true asphalt lifers, in the plants, making it happen every day. So Mike, we really appreciate you being on today, and tell your folks, your management team, and all the employees working at the plants how much we appreciate them. And I know things are changing on a daily basis, certainly, and but you guys are well up to the task, and we can't thank you enough for all you guys are doing.
Thanks very much, Stan. I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. So we're going to pivot now, and Mike's actually going to sit on pause. He may hang out and join us for our happy hour toast at 5, but I'm going to invite a few very special guests to jump on. So if I can go ahead and get Tiara, Lauren, and my better half, Colleen, to come on in and say hello. So Tiara, if you want to go ahead and unmute your video there. There she is.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? How are you? You guys doing good?
Yeah, doing well.
Is that a custom background,
You
Lauren?
know it.
Wow. Very.
You know it. Asphalt life in the house.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, we are going to have a really special guest outside of these amazing special guests. There she is. There's Steph. What's up? She's getting her audio connected, so we'll give her just a second. But I want to give a shout out to all three of these wonderful Atlas employees, and also to my wife, Colleen, who's here.
Yay.
Joining us on the Atlas Pro Talk today.
Hi.
And guys, what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to really let you guys talk about, is really juggling the insanity of having kids home from school and then also trying to balance that with everything that is going on with work, right? And there's no shortage of Zoom calls and conference calls, and we got our 5-year-olds running into the screen, and and then the joy of our cafeteria schedule. So I'm actually going to start with this, because I saw, Steph, you posted this the other day, and I thought it was unbelievably appropriate. Like, it is just absolutely what everyone is feeling right now. Yes. Cafeteria house. Talk to us about the inspiration behind this.
Well, I think, probably everybody's feeling this way, but for me, I kind of feel like every day is Groundhog's Day, right? We're doing the same thing every single day. And I know that my kids on the weekends, when they're home all day long with us, they're asking us for a snack from the minute they have breakfast all the way till they go to bed at night. They want a snack all day long. So I knew that was going to be a thing. And we just I was, not wanting to hear them all day long ask me for a snack. I said, look, when you're at school Monday through Friday, this is what you guys do. We're going to do it here at home too. So this is the schedule of eating and snacks, and it's worked out really well. So we're good.
Did they take it seriously at first, or were they like, "Oh yeah, Mom, that's a joke"?
No, they did not. But I was pretty firm with it, so they got the picture.
Yeah, that's
hey,
awesome.
Steph, one of my I was talking on a group with some girlfriends last night, and she said that they're doing baskets. Like every kid has a basket of snacks, and
Yeah.
once you're out, you're just done.
Oh,
Don't
that's
ask for any more.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah.
Right. Steph, how old are your kids?
They are 7 and 4.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Mine
quick
are
formal introductions for everybody, and then we'll kind of jump into these topics. So, Tiara, go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll go around the horn.
yeah, I'm Tiara. I am the content and digital marketing manager at Atlas, and I have a 10, 8, and 4-year-old. I think when you get past 2, Stan, it's just like I have kids.
Right.
Yeah.
I got some of those.
I got some of those, yeah,
Right.
with the cats and the dogs, right? So,
Right.
great. Thanks, Tiara. We appreciate you being here. And Lauren, why don't you give yourself a little shout out? What's happening from Michigan?
Yeah, for sure. Lauren Carlson. I am the marketing and communications manager in the corporate office in Atlanta. But I am currently isolating with my family here in Detroit. We are in the process of moving, if we can ever leave the house again. And my kids are, I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and a husband, a wonderful husband who helps make this all possible. And we both work we're both working from home right now. So it is a balancing act for 2 working parents and 2 kids, and homeschooling or whatever is going on with that. But yeah, happy to represent.
Awesome. And Steph, tell us a little bit about what you do for Atlas and what ages of your kids are.
I am Stephanie Miller. I'm the sales rep for Delaware and part of Pennsylvania. My kids are 2 boys. They are 7 and 4. My husband is also working from home, so we are all trying to navigate working at home, the kids having virtual schooling. So it's been a challenge, but we're making it.
Yeah. And what about you? How are you? Welcome.
I'm Colleen, and we have 3 kids, 4, 7, and 12. So preschool, elementary school, and middle school.
Awesome. Well, Steph, I want to start with you, and we're going to talk about 4 points here and give each of you guys one of these things to talk about. So in sort of inspiration from your cafeteria hours, maybe talk about pre-planning a little bit and like how you're pre-planning, sort of balancing what you've got to do for work every day with what your kids have to do. Are you doing pre-planning? How much is too much? Tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, so we are definitely pre-planning. It's become really important, especially like I said, with my husband working from home and me working from home and having the kids doing the virtual schooling. We kind of get together, in the evenings and just kind of talk about what our plan is for the next day and what we have going on. It's been really easy with the kids because they're virtual schooling. We can do it at any time. So there's no specific time where they have to be, starting school at 8 o'clock. So we kind of work that around our schedule too. But for the both of us, it's been really helpful to know when he has a conference call or I have a conference call or I need to make calls or just have time to just do stuff on my laptop, and for him too. So we've done a really good job of, communicating what we have to do and what's important and, getting through it with our schedules. So it's really, really worked out for us.
That's great. That's great. And how are your kids doing? Are they thriving? Are they stressed out? Are they pulling their hair out? Like what's the state of the industry in the Miller home?
It's day to day. Sometimes like we're doing really well, and then it seems like they're just at each other's throats and we're fighting, and it's just tough some days, but we're getting through it, and it gets better. I think they're getting into the groove of thing that this is like the longest weekend ever for them, so they're just kind of staying on the path. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, appreciate you sharing that your experience and what you're doing. So Tiara, why don't you kind of pivot us into this idea of flexibility, what you guys are doing at home to be flexible in the broadest sense of the term, and then maybe some specific examples.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to being flexible, it's very broad, but very, we as working moms who have working husbands, as Steph said, it is a juggling act. And so I think the most important thing, if you're a contractor and you're on this call, think about helping out, being flexible with yourself and your hours, as well as your wife. And the fact that typically most of us on this call, our kids are at school normally, right? So we get at least 6 hours where we're able to, get them their education. And so doing all of that in addition to your own job is a lot in itself. So I think just being flexible, right? If someone misses a time and they aren't able to communicate with you that they have a call coming up, just, give that grace pass with, and even with ourselves, I think as moms, we tend to be the hardest on ourselves. And so it's always okay to just take a step back. And, the other day I was on a call with Lauren and I said, Lauren, I got to call you back because my kids are going completely crazy and I need to spend some time with them. So those things happen, right? And just giving yourself that moment. My daughter comes in and she's 4 and sometimes she just needs a hug. And it's like, well, hey, Mr. Contractor, here's Tessa. So it is what it is. And, we're all in the middle and working through this together. And so just giving yourself that pass, I think is so important.
Yeah. I think people get it too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's in the same boat. And that's why I think when Tessa does come on the screen during a Zoom chat, it's like, hey, Tessa, how are you? Like everybody's just got to go with it, because next thing you know, one of your kids is going to come rolling into
it's great because we'll get to learn each other's kids' names and faces. So we don't only see each other once every blue moon. I get to actually see Steph's kids or see little Poppy. So I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So, Lauren, tell us a little bit about setting boundaries, and that, again, you can take us wherever you want with that, but, boundaries with your kids, boundaries with your husband, boundaries with, whatever, with work people, I think, too, right? There's got to be
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm a pre-planner, like Steph was talking about. I do, I feel a little willy-nilly if we don't know the day before at least what our, unbreakable schedule points are for the next day. When I have meetings that I have to be 100% into, or on Facebook Live, then the door's closed, and that's our physical boundary that the kids can't bother mom right now, and that's the same for my husband. There are calls that he has to take and things that he has to do, and he is out in the field still from time to time. So, there are clear boundaries that we are setting with each other and with the kids. And part of teaching the kids to respect those boundaries is us respecting each other's boundaries as well, right? Which can be a challenge when everybody's tired and everybody needs to get in on a meeting. That's definitely something that we are working on continually as we're navigating this. Also, the stop work time boundary, the work time personal time boundary. I mean, it's really easy for all of those lines to get muddled right now. I saw a Dolly Parton meme, working 9 to 5. No, it's working 9 to 9:38 and then 10:15 to 10:45, and it's like, life and work are just woven through right now. It's hard to separate them, and that's a blessing and a curse, right? I mean, we're able to be home with our kids. I mean, my kids, I was telling Tiara earlier, my kids are the greatest coworkers in the world and the worst coworkers in the world right now. It's from moment to moment, you don't know. So setting those boundaries as to when I'm going to shut my computer, if I'm going to go downstairs for lunch for a half hour, I'm going to shut my computer and that's it. I can get back to anybody later. If I'm going to be done working at the end of the day, I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to focus on my family. Those are also hard things to do when there's deadlines to meet and, projects to work on. That's a difficult thing, but, it definitely helps me tune in 100% at work when I'm sitting at the desk doing work and 100% at the dinner table when I'm sitting with my family.
Yeah. Yeah, great points. I think those physical boundaries are important, but also just talking about them, right? When you guys are together, and the importance of having them and respecting them and being reciprocal. I think that's was right on. And so Colleen, why don't you kind of round us out here and talk about check-ins? Like what's working for you and us and the kids on checking in on stuff?
So I think now is the most important time that I can ever remember to check in with your people. That means your spouse, your friends, your coworkers, your friends, your coworkers, your kids, those older people in your life, maybe your parents, your grandparents, your great aunt, whomever. But I feel like there's about 25 emotions every 60 seconds with 5 people in our house. That ranges from like sadness and rage to joy and happiness. And it's just like this really complicated ball of stress and joy and emotion, because there's some really great things with us all being together, but it's also really confusing and scary and difficult. So checking in with your people, the people in your house, but also because we can't be with other people physically, those phone calls to friends, reaching out to family members, I feel like it eases the tension. It gives me a break. I can laugh. I can talk about all the craziness. Get into that too much, but you know what I mean. It's just a lot. So I think checking in with other people is very helpful right now, and we can be connected even though we have to be apart.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know, our 4-year-old has sort of totally bought in on this really kind of cool check-in thing that we kind of started doing with Boy Scouts with my son. So Colleen went on a Boy Scout camp out like a year ago, rock climbing, and they did this thing called Rose and Thorn, where everybody says their rose from the trip and then their thorn from the trip, right? My favorite part and the worst thing about it. And so we started doing this at dinner a couple times over the last year. And now our 4-year-old Cleo, you know, at dinner, like she's just like, okay, Rose and Thorn time, guys, Rose and Thorn time, guys. But like, I love that check-in too, right? It's like a 4-year-old's way of saying, I want to check in too, and I want to tell you how I'm feeling and what I liked and what I didn't like about the day. So that's maybe something everybody can try, but I love that about our day. So
yes, she does that anytime we gather around a table. All right, guys, what's your rose and thorn? And you can have many roses and 0 thorns, or several thorns and 0 roses.
No rules.
Yeah, but she likes to get us talking.
Yeah. Well, my next question for you guys would be, what are you telling your kids about the situation, right? Because that's also a complicated thing. And what are they saying? Have they said anything funny or anything scary about this? Like, because they're hearing things and this is abnormal times. So what are some of the things that they're saying and you're saying in response to them to sort of tell them about this crazy situation? Whoever wants to jump in.
Well, I guess, yeah. Tessa I have 2 boys and then 1 girl. So she's obviously the most verbal. And she's just so funny. She's like, Lord, I just hope no one gets corona. And if they do, I hope they feel better. I'm like, okay. So you know, she has all kinds of ranges of thoughts, you know, about this fact of, she calls it, we're quarantined, you know, right now, and we can't see other people. And so until we get unquarantined, then we won't be able to see others. And so we've been trying to be very intentional about, hey, here's 2 of your friends. Let's do a FaceTime, you know, right before dinner or right before bed, so that you can connect with others. Because I think for them, that social element, and here in Georgia, they just announced that school is not going to come back after
The school
April.
Tiara, right?
I just like needed a moment, right? I was like, wait, what? So, you know, that was a lot to take in. But I think also when I was talking to my kids, I could see that they were like, wow, so I'm not going to see my friends. Like, this is a long-term thing and it's difficult. So I just been really kind of doing a rose and thorn type thing with them, and just giving them the space to be like, yeah, this is different. This sucks a little bit, but you know, we're going to make it. It's going to be okay. Let's figure out what we can do and stay really positive. So.
Yeah. So for me, you know, I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and it's been really hard to explain to them why they can't play with their friends who they normally do, that are right across the driveway at their house playing basketball, and we're in our driveway playing hockey or whatever. And they're like, well, why can't we just go play with them? You know, so trying to explain the social distancing and those kinds of things is difficult. My 4-year-old doesn't really understand it every time. I talk to someone or I talk about someone, he always says, do they have the coronavirus? So, and then I think that my 7-year-old, he's got a lot of questions, you know, and I think, you know, sometimes I have the news on while he's around and he hears things, and, you know, so he does have a lot more questions, but it's been tough because they don't, you know, they see all the kids in the neighborhood playing, but everyone's playing by themselves. And, right. You know, it's hard to do that, to explain to them, we can't play together right now. So it's been difficult.
Yeah, us too. I'll say that we have definitely tried to have these big conversations together as a family, so that we, you know, and my husband and I both talk to the kids, but we give the kids the opportunity to talk as well and have an equal footing, you know, in the conversation with us. What are your concerns? What are you worried about? What do you think about this? And, you know, we tell them, we're not shy about telling them that we don't know when it's going to end. We don't know what the answers are. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know that we're safe. We know that we're taking care of each other. And I mean, I'll be totally honest. I know some families are like at each other's throats, but my kids are boys, my 2 boys. They have like developed even, I mean, they don't even stop talking to each other right now. It's totally insane. Like in the morning they get up and they're like, hey, are you awake? Hey, are you awake? They've become like the closest friends, the best buds that we could have never anticipated it, you know, and I know this is out of, force that they're each other's only friends right now, but we're trying to really, you know, holistically approach it. Like, this is what we have, and let's be positive about it. Let's enjoy our time together, and, you know, we're going to come out on the other side together, you know?
Yeah. What about you?
Cleo calls it the virus. So there's, you know, a little talk of the virus that happens. But when the anxiety amps up, which it does, especially with our middle schooler, Lucky, who is having the hardest time, misses his friends the most, it's more difficult for him. It's just bringing him back to the moment, the present moment. What are we doing right now? Because when you look at the week ahead, the month ahead, you know, the rest of the school year, which is, you know, it becomes very difficult to try to explain and work through. So we're just going moment by moment here and trying to make the best of it. And, you know, it'll be really interesting to look back on this time and talk about all of being at home and having these incredible Zoom calls and Facebook lives.
That's right.
A record of this time, really.
A serious record. That's right. Yeah. Well, I cannot thank you guys enough for coming on and just talking about your experience. And I think that, you know, if there's even just a handful of people out there that will get to see this and hear from other, you know, moms dealing with the same thing, you know, I think it's of great value, because I think that, you know, I was on with some contractors the last couple of times we've done this. And obviously we heard from Mike, there's so many things that this is affecting. This is affecting every aspect of our life. But the one and the most important thing, the reason we go to work every day is so we can support our family. And now we have this really interesting opportunity that was just dropped in our laps to really focus on family in a big way. So there's a balance, but I just think you guys are amazing, you know, with what you guys are doing. So I appreciate you guys being on. And we have Kate Owings, Kate Owings Howell, who is on, is going to get our Asphalt Life prize pack for today. So thank you for being our lucky recipient there. And guys, it's time for our toast, which we actually missed on Tuesday. I am going to be in honor of Michigan. So Mike is on. Mike's back up on video. He's got a little toast. I got a 2-hearted ale from Michigan. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Definitely here in Georgia. So anybody that wants to toast, it's happy hour time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yes.
Guys, we appreciate our Asphalt Life community. Join us for Atlas Pro Talk every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for as long as you'll have us. And we're going to be joined tomorrow by Stephanie Daniels, our sales director for the Southeast, as well as Ben Murphy from Ben Murphy Company. So he's going to give us an update on what's happening in the panhandle of Florida in hurricane hangover and dealing with everything that they've got going on down there. So he lives close to the beach, so maybe he can give us an update, make sure that there's no spring breakers breaking the law down there. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. Thanks again for being on, and
Bye,
we'll see you
guys.
next time
Guys.
on Atlas Pro Talk.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.